Good day, friends. It's a beautiful day, and I'm back in the workshop. I've not been in the workshop this week. It's now Thursday. I've had other things to do this week. Main thing being yesterday, my wife graduated yesterday, and for those of you that need to know, she got her first with honours, and she won 2 awards as well. But that aside, I'm back in the workshop today, and I have a guitar that needs a lot of work, and I can't really show it you properly because all the wiring's out, and it came to me with all the wiring out, and there you go. And it's an Epiphone DOT, blah 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 blah. Doesn't seem to say where it's made. Not too bothered about where it's made anyway, but it is. Let's have a look in the label inside. Can't see nothing there. I do have a light pen knocking about. Boing boing. Let's have a look, see if we can read anything. Right. Workmanship, craftsmanship, blah blah blah. Doesn't say where it's made. Just says quality craftsmanship. .ch. Dot cherry dot, then that'll be. It's got a 14 first 2 numbers of a serial, so probably 2014 model. So it's likely made in China. And what's on there? Well, the lad has tried to put push-pull pots in there on the volume, and he's made a right hash of it. But it's not only that needs doing. We also need to. Wow, he has made a right mess of this. We also need to level and reprofile the frets, sort out these electrics, and give it a setup. Frets are all over the place. I've already priced him up on this. By rise, I'm charging him a bit less than I ought to be because a fret level with a setup is £100. But when I'm going in and out through F-holes, there's a surplus charge on there. All the pots come out of the F-hole on these guitars, which makes them awkward going and back in, and I charge 1 hour extra, which if you're already having work done, I will charge £25 for an extra hour. But I'm just going to charge him the £100. Any pots we need to change, I'll charge for that. Like a pot's probably going to cost £5. We don't need to, he's got strings, he's sent strings anyway. But the guitar needs a lot of work. It's just, I don't know what he's done with this wiring here, but it is an absolute mess. It's completely wrong. He says some of it is working, some of it isn't. I can guarantee none of it's working because the wires are snapped all over the place. So I'm going to completely rewire the whole loom. I do not have a wiring diagram, but what I do have is I have 3 or 4 wiring diagrams, and I'm going to piece them together, and I'm going to make up. I'm basically going to copy a Les Paul wiring, modern style, so the caps stay just on the tone pots. And I'm going to basically build the loom up from there as best I can. The whole thing is a mess. There's a red wire sticking out here, I don't know where it's from or where it goes. So I'm going to start all of it again. So what I'll do is I'll strip all this wiring out of here. I'll find out how I'm going to route everything. Don't seem to be any pickup screws knocking about either, which is not fantastic, but we'll sort it. What I'll do is I'm going to reposition the camera. We'll start snipping some wires, start testing everything, and I will see what I can do, and we'll crack on and get this done. So what a mess this is, and you'll see I've got the guitar covered in some chamois leather, just all taped up there. The blue wire or the blue part of a circuit is for the bridge controls. The red part of a circuit is for the neck. And I always seem to remember this with Epiphones, and I don't know why, but I always think of red neck or redneck with Epiphones because that seems to be how it goes, in blue bridge. But anyway, so I know what's what. Only the bridge part is connected. The neck part is not working at all. I'm going to completely strip everything to do with this wiring. So we're going to basically start again. I'm just going to remember this loom, or this part of a loom, goes first to the bridge controls, which is the way it seems to work. I would have thought it would go on the neck, but I don't know if you can see that where you are, but that massive clump of solder there, it's terrible. It's really, really bad soldering. People shouldn't attempt to solder things if they can't solder. I mean, I may have to replace these 2 push-pull pots yet. Depends how I can clean them up. Well, that one's done. I've got no diagram to go from, so I'm just going to wing it. Hopefully get it all right. It's not mega difficult. I'm going to extend this bridge wire on here just a little, not be a problem. We'll strip these wires back on there, but all of this has got to come off. It is, look at that, can you see it where you are? It's terrible soldering. So we're going to do it all again. Just wow, really. I think I'm going to charge him for this. End of the day, I've got to charge what it costs. I am running as, this is my sole business now, it's the way I earn my living. And just want to make that clear. So freebies and favours, not something I can do anymore. You know, I've got bills to pay and overheads. Well, you know how it works. Anyway, so it doesn't seem to be going that hot enough, does it, right now? I'm going to clean these pots up. I may just go with new pots. Should be obviously enough, it's on 440 Celsius, but I'm not having it at the moment. I know black is ground and bare is ground on these pickups for whatever reason. So green and white together are the split coil. Red must be hot. Should be the same wiring on Epiphone pickups as it is on a Gibson. I'm going to totally clean these pots and strip all the wires off of them. Get all that solder off. I mean, look at that massive hunk of solder on there. You need a double solder. Not good at all. Not convinced these pots will be any good, maybe these scratch. I'm going to replace these two pots. I'm going to let the guy know. Charge him £5 each for the pots. This will be, it's an A500. So I'm using audio for volume, which is fair enough. I've learnt my lesson going with sticking old pots back on guitars. There's just no point. That's not having it, so we're just gonna, I'm not going to snap that. I will let him off for 25 quid for the extra labour, but I'm going to charge him 10 quid for 2 new pots. We're just going to oink that off, and we're going to get rid of that. And we're going to strip and bare this wire. What's the point of joining these wires together? We're a little, I really don't get it. So black and bare is earth, red is hot, green and white are the split coils. So what we're going to do is I'll write that down for one. Always an idea, just to write something down. I will go and check online anyway. I imagine it's the same colour as Gibson. I don't imagine anything, I know it's the same colour as Gibson. So, Epiphone wiring, black, bare equals ground, green, white, coil, red, hot. I know how to wire pots for coil splitting. There's no point repairing these, they're just too much of a mess. We will go with brand new 500k pots. We only need two audio ones. I've got some here. 250 push. I love push pushes over push pull. 500k audio push. Is that push push? Yes, push push. 500k audio push pull. There you go. We're going to go with those. We're going to stick them in. Two brand new pots. I've got another one here. I don't know what this one is. That's a B. That's not an audio. That's a linear. Blah blah blah. Anyway, they're the pots we're going to go with. I've got 500k tone push pull. I would have stick these on the tone, so yeah, that's me. Push. Definitely go with push over push pull. So anyway, I'm going to crack on. Back soon. Sorry about that. I had to rush stop the video because I had I scrapped a car and I've had someone just come and collect it just now, and they were at the window as I was speaking. So anyway, that's done. Anyway, moving on. started doing some of the resoldering. I have disconnected and resoldered the input jack connections, all nice and neat now. I've also stripped the blue wires, ready for resoldering. I'm going to clean up and extend the red wires. So blue will be for neck pickup, this will be for bridge pickup. And I'm ready to move on to the neck, cleaning up the pot. Look at the amount of solder on the back of that pot there. Ludicrous. So I'm going to remove this cap, get rid of all that solder, clean up these connections, and I'm going to redo that. I'm going to do exactly the same with the bridge connections over here. And then all we've got to do is basically wire the pickups to the new push-pull pots. Here are the new push-pull pots. These are Alpha brand. They're labelled up there. Had these in my drawer, bought these last year. Bought quite a few of these things because I was doing quite a few of these sort of jobs. I don't use push-pull anymore. I use push-push, which I prefer. So these are brand new. Alphas, don't know if you can see on there, it does say Alpha just round about here, somewhere under my finger. So they are good, so we're going to swap them over. I'm going to charge them a £5 each for them. I don't think it cost me about that. But that's it, so I'm going to do that, get it all tidied up. I will test everything while it's out of the guitar before I put it back in. Once I'm happy that it's all working, we'll get the electrics back in, get the pickups all screwed back in, hoping the screws are in the guitar case, and we're going to remove a nut, we're going to level these frets and crack on with that. Very big job here today. It's a lot of work for 100 quid, I'll be honest with you. There's about 6 hours work in this, so you know, there you go, back soon. Kind of as you were, but no wonder this guy was having a problem. There's blue wire here, which is for a neck pickup, signifies neck pickup. And what it's supposed to do is the braided one, or the bare one, is supposed to go to the earth, but the white one is supposed to go to lug 3. And from lug 3 on this side, it goes to lug 1 of a volume pot, and that goes to earth. Now the thing is, he's earthed the hot wire, which goes to lug 1. This bridge here for the earth doesn't need to be there because the capacitor is earthed to the pot here, like so. So he's got 2 earths on here, no wonder nothing was working. So I've got to remove this earth bridge there, that's got to come off, and I've got to wire accordingly to the push-pull on the other side. So hoping you're understanding that, but no wonder the guy was having problems. The wiring is just wrong all over the place. I will sort it out, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blob on with this. I'm not going to show every little bit, I'm just going to blob on, get it done to how it should be wired, and I'm going to test it, and then I'm going to come back. Something I like to do on push-pull or push-push pots before I do anything else is get the earth or the ground wire sorted, and I've done that, and I ground the bottom 2 lugs here, right at the bottom there, and I run the wire round over to the casing on this side there, loop it round to the casing on this side, and then solder to the 3rd lug at the bottom there. Now the thing is, I've not soldered to that lug yet because I didn't have a wire going on there from the tone pot, which is from the 3rd lug on the tone pot, 1st lug on the tone pot to the 3rd lug on this pot here. I believe, no, sorry, the earth wire from the tone pot is going to go there, so I'm going to solder those 2 together. So in effect, that is going to go basically, the earth wire of this cable here is going to go onto there, and the hot wire will go to the 1st lug here with the hot wire from the pickup itself. So a little bit of configuring there, but that is done. All I need to do with this, I can actually snip this now. It's just something I like to do, is just get all the earth wire sorted. So we've got the earth from the bottom 2 pins down to the side casing, to this side casing, and through to the earth lug or lug number 3 on the bottom. Sorry, is it? Yes, it's 3. Number 3 on the volume part. I hope that's explained. I know what I'm talking about. So moving on, I have the bridge part of the loom wired. All I need to do is I need to bare up and clean these wires on the bridge, which I'm going to do right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to start again with these wires, so we're not going to mess about. We're just going to cut everything like so. Can you see there? And we are going to start again. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove a good couple of centimetres of this wire, the outer core wire there, hopefully not removing anything else, not snapping anything else, which I've not done. So there you go, I've bared all 5 wires, and what we're going to do is going to get all these tinned and joined together where they need to be. We're assuming that black is hot. I will go and check these wires. Black is hot. Sorry, no it's not. Black and bare or ground. That's right. Green and white or split coil, and red is hot. That's what we are going to assume. I'm going to go and check that with some Gibson wiring, and then we're going to join the necessary wires together and solder them to this volume pot, and we're going to test just the bridge circuit. If that's working fine, we're going to do exactly the same with the neck circuit. Then we're going to get all the pots back in, and we can move on to the next part of the job. Problem solving again, and I've got all the bridge pickup wired up, thinking, oh, this should work fine. I get there and it's not working. I'm thinking something wrong here. Really bad earth, whatever. And it's these wires here are snapped. This is why people, if you don't know what they're doing, don't attempt your own wiring, because you're just making it more difficult down the line for someone like me to sort it out. And I've now got to solder this wire to this part of the input jack here, then get this hot one back on that lug there. So again, I've had to take another wire off, blah blah blah, and it's just a bit of a bind having to sort people's mess out. You know, if you don't know what you're doing, take it to someone who does. Stop faffing about with stuff and making things difficult down the line. That really is all. But anyway, what can I do? All I can really do is just crack on. So I need to get some wire and bare a bit more of this wire here. We should do it just enough to get a good earth connection. But this is the thing, if you don't know what you're doing, don't attempt to do stuff, because like, I'm fault finding here. This has taken me, it's going to take me 3 hours to sort this out. You know, I'm only charging for an hour. So anyway, that I'm going to connect that to the earth there. In fact, I'm going to basically take everything off. I'm just going to get the hot wire sorted out. Get the hot wire on, I know at least that one's correct. I'm going to do the same with the red wire. Get all the earth sorted out. I can get on with the hot connections. Just a little gripe, not a major complaint. It's just, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, don't attempt these things. Because I expected this to be working. I got back to you, but I've had to go and spend 20 minutes fault finding. Anyway, I'm going to get this sorted. Back soon. So I've been a bit lively with the soldering iron. I've resoldered all of these earth connections here. Got a big blob of solder on there, beautiful connection. Resoldered all of these wires, and I've just got it on the bridge pickup. These are bridge pickup controls, and we're going to check the electric. I've got it plugged into the amp. That's probably the buzz you can hear. And let's go full volume, full tone. Let's check the tone first. Full coil. Tone. So that's tone working. So we're on full coil, and I'm going to pull the split. And you're going to go quieter. So I'm going to go, this is a split coil, just one coil on, and I'll push it in to go full humbucker again. So split coil, full, split, again, split, full. So the bridge circuit is working perfectly. So all I'm going to do now is, I'm going to connect the neck circuit to this, to here. Exactly the same configuration. I could, in effect, stick these 2 pots in there, which I might actually do, because then they're out of the way, they're where they need to be, and everything is good. One little thing is the stems on these push-pull pots, the ones I have in stock, are a little bit thinner than the ones that came with the guitar, but the ones that came with the guitar are rubbish. They're really, you know, I spend all day cleaning them up, I'm not going to bother. So we're going to work around that and get it in. So like I say, we're going to get these 2 bits in. The last 2 things to go in will be the jack and the 3-way. So I'm going to crack on with that, not going to film it, just going to get it all done, and I'll come back and I'll show you it all working, all neatly configured, all in the right place. Then we can get on and get the strings off, we can start working on this neck. This guitar, but when all said and done, is going to run me about, I don't know, probably 8, 9 hours when all said and done, because I've been faffing about with it all day, and you can't really moan at that for 100 quid, can you? So guys, we've really done a lot of work on this. This is the neck side of everything. The 2 pots are all wired in, pickups all wired in. The bridge pick up, I've had to extend the wires here because the wires were a little bit short, but especially the earth wire, because it was bared right back. It was only about 3 strands sticking out, so I had to bear back a lot more wire, and I've added an extension in the form of this yellow wire here, so everything's all now all the same length. All I need to do with this is I've got the tone pots done with the capacitor on there. Just need to finish off wiring up the push pull for the volume, and then we can get everything back in the guitar. It's all nice and neat. I'm just going to show everything as it will probably work in the guitar. That is going to go round here somewhere like so. So inside the guitar it's going to be kind of like that. I know you can't see from where you are. You've got the 2 tone pots at the back, the 2 volume pots here. We'll have this floating about to go in last, the jack. You can see that, and we will have the 3-way there. Everything is super neat. I will bring the camera over in a short while and show you everything all as it's going to go in, all nice and neat. One thing I didn't realise needed doing is these pot stems here are too wide for the guitar, so I've got to ream the two tone pot holes in there. We're going to ream them a little bit wider, and then we're going to go crack on and get all this stuff inside the guitar. Hopefully all being well, it will go in nice and straight. I mean, everything's sitting nice. Everything is as it should be, so I don't see there being any hardship in there. But these can always be a fiddly thing to get inside the guitar, or to get right inside the guitar. I've got to mock things up a little bit just to make sure we get the right amount of stem sticking out of the top. There will be some nuts and bolts missing on these pots as well, as I've been informed by the owner. But everything soldered, especially with this 3-way selector, is absolutely solid. The whole system is going to be working fine, but like I say, all I need to do now is get these out of the way. The tone volume, sorry, not the tone, the neck volume, and the neck tone, and the input jack, which we'll put there, out of the way. And I just need to get everything wired up now onto this volume pot for the neck, and then we can crack on and get stuff inside the guitar. I shall be back once this is done, and we'll attempt to get all the stuff back in. I don't think you guys are going to see from where the camera is, so I really can't help that. But the thing is, no forethought about this job at all from a lad who was doing this, because these pots here, the tone pots, do not fit the holes at all. These do, in fact these are too loose in the holes, the volume pots, but the tone pots don't. So I'm going to ream these holes, and I actually do have a reamer, and I use this now and again. That's a good job I've got this tool, otherwise I'll be going out having to buy one. And now all we're going to do with this is we're just going to widen these holes up, and you can't see where you are, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to... the thing is that with that is it doesn't go in deep enough, look. So I'm going to have to go at an angle. This is really... And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to drill. So I'm just going to ream these edges here the best I can, just so we don't crack the paint. And I'm going to take a drill bit to this. Let's just check again. Okay. Again, no forethought at all. Let me get some drill bits out. I'm going to get the drill out. This is all, you're going to see this basically live. I would have thought 8mm might just be enough. No, it won't, because 8mm goes in really easily. 9mm might not be enough. Nine mil isn't going to be enough either. No, it's not, because 9 will go straight in. So we're going to need a 9.5mm drill. Again, might not need a drill, might as well just do this by hand. At least doing that with my hand, it's not cracking the paint. And that just goes in. That's not going to be wide enough. I'm going to go with a 10. Again, by hand. And that is a 10. And this should just give us enough. So at least with a 10, this way I know that the pot is going to fit from both sides. And there you go. Okay, not too much hard work, but so the point is it. I'm going to have to just tell the lad, I'm going to have to charge him that extra hour because this has taken me, we are now 6 hours into the job here. Well, it shouldn't be 6 hours. There's about 4 hours work gone into this job so far. Then I need to do a fret level and blah 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 blah. Fret level, recrowning and everything, so I'm just going to let him know. I can't be doing work for nothing. But anyway, that pot fits in there beautifully. I'm going to do the same at this end. So I'll start with the, shouldn't start with a drill because the paint might crack. So I'm going to take the reaming tool again. The problem with the reaming tool is it's the bottom of the guitar before it starts reaming. And this is just to stop the paint cracking. So far so good. These are HSS bits, so they're really, really sharp. You can drill through metal with these. At least now we know the pots are going to fit these holes. Oh, that's a bit of resistance there. At least now we know we've got round holes as well. Check the pot in the hole. So you've seen a little bit of that on the far side of the screen. So that's good, that fits, that's good. Go and check these two. I know this is going to fit because the hole is massive. That fits. And that fits, that's good. So you see how we're getting on with this. Make sure this fits here, which it does. And this fits here, which it does. So we're going to do basically an upside down version of that inside the guitar. So all we need to do now is get these into position and get them pulled up. What I need to do before I do any of that is I need to earth the bridge. And I'm going to earth it to this pot here. And so I'm going to bring this wire, and that's in the guitar, it's going to be that side, so I'm going to earth it to this side of the pot. I've got a soldering iron already hot. So you see this it's a very fiddly job. It helps if you've done this before because you kind of know where you're at and what you've got to do. I'm going to try some solder, which I have. A hot soldering iron, which I hopefully have. Of course I've got my hand on the top of the solder, so I'm going to be in the wrong place now, the wrong way around, but there you go, get some heat in there. Nice pool of solder on there, something to hold it down with, and the reamer is going to have to do. Never blow on solder, and there you go, that connection's made, we have it earthed. So what I've got to do now is I've got to thread these pots in, get them in position. I've got a special way of getting this in. What we're going to do is we're going to line these up into the way they need to go. And we'll work out the route and we'll get all these inside the guitar. I'm not going to do it on camera because this is going to take a while and it's going to get annoying. And it may not go in first time, but what I could possibly do is stick some if we've got enough room, stick some tubing over there. Like I said, I'm going to do it all off camera. I could probably do it, I could possibly probably do it just by placing them in there and getting a screwdriver in there and pulling these pots up. It's one way of doing it. I don't think I'm going to put any washers underneath these because I think we're going to be fine without. So let's start with first tone pot. The problem with these is having the thing underneath, the capacitor, means they're not going to sit right. So what I'm going to have to do is, once I've got them inside the guitar, like so, I'm going to try and position them. And I may or may not get them to sit up right. Like I said, I'm going to do this off camera because it's going to take a long time. It will get a little bit frustrating, so I'll crack on and I'll come back to it. After rummaging and trying to find the right size screws for these tone pots, which the owner of the guitar forgot to put in the box, I've actually found some. But for instance, this tone pot here will not thread this through just by going underneath. I've got the bridge ones in. This is the neck one. So what I've done is, you can't see where you are, but I've got a not a locking washer, but a grip washer. One of these jobbies on here. I'm going to thread this in, and I've got some tubing on this. See that, like from an aquarium. I didn't take it out of an aquarium. I actually bought it specifically for this job, and this just helps you get this into position. What we're going to do is we're going to get that one inside as well, ready to fit. But look how easy is that, and there you go. And we've got it in, and I need to move that out of the way because this has got to go inside as well. All this gubbins here, because this has to go on the inside. That's all fine and dandy for now, but I just need that in there. I need it behind that pot there. We're not worrying about that. What I need to do is I need to get the finger on this pot somehow, if I can. And if I can't, I've got to bollock because I'm able to get the I'm able to get the washer over. Let's have a look. That's not the right washer. Maybe this will go over. I don't know what it's going to do. That'll do me. And we're there. And this is how you get these on. Can you see that? How good is that? So it's all about getting the pots in first. That's 3 in. One more to do. We'll tighten them up later. No rush to get them tight. What I need to do now is get this one in position. Have I left enough room to do that? I certainly hope so. I need that pot. Have we done this wrong, is the question. Some ways are easier than others. That is not going to move that way, so I need to move this pot. Yes, we've done it right, it's fine. It's fine. We need to get a non-spinning washer on there. That's great. We just dropped it inside the guitar. That's what we did not want to do. Do I have a magnetic screwdriver? No, but I have a gripper. Somewhere where I can grab it. How good is that? It's like plain operation, isn't it? How wonderful is that? So again, let's move this pot to where it needs to be. We'll get that washer in again. And there you go, place it underneath. There are a few ways to get these pots out up into the hole. One of the ways is inserting a screwdriver into the shaft. Got to be patient. If this doesn't work, we will get some tubing on there. I think we're going to be okay with this. Just. And we've got some cable in the way. We have some cable in the way and we don't want that. And I can see where the cable is. Okay, let's just free that out of the way. Move that there to that position. Try again. It's all about getting the cabling out of the way and keeping it out of the way. And I think there you are. And there we are. That is good. That washer. Good. Not good. If these are poking out too much, it's really tough. The knobs are going to have to do it to be how they are. There's a lot of fanning about. can tighten these up once everything's in where it needs to be. All we need to go now is a three-way selector and the input jack. The input jack's the easiest. You might be thinking, how is that the easiest? It's furthest away. Yeah, absolutely correct. But we don't worry about such things. This one needs to bend in. But there you go, she's through. Okay. Need to turn this one way or another. It's going to be that way. I hope that's the right way on. It's the only way it's going to go on. So, it's off. Okay. Do I have those bits? I'll bag of it somewhere. Okay, I'll tell you what. Not needed. I have other parts. Is that too big? Yeah, probably. Good for that. Do I have a... Yes, I do. I'm going to go with a nut. This fits. I think this might fit. I'm just putting this on temporary, just so I find the one that came with the guitar. There you go. That's in there. So you see now we're all working, and you were thinking, how are you going to get that into there now? Well, that's going to be probably easier than the rest. I'm not sure we've got a nut to fit that. Not there, we haven't. With this. You see, this is the thing. All the wrong bits in here. Aha, there you go. There you go, there you go, there you go. Okay. I've got the right knot for the... I think I've got the right knot. There's not enough screws for the pickups. This guy is not sent me nowhere near enough stuff, so I don't know what I was thinking of. That's going to work on there, that's good, but there's nothing for this. So I've got to go in my box and see if I can find something that fits. And I don't think I have anything. That certainly doesn't fit. That certainly doesn't fit. Just a shambles. So the owner of this guitar has really let me down with this because I don't have the right bits to fit anything. Okay, let me have a look around, see what I can find. Customers. See what I can find. Back soon. Okay, I have found something to fit, a screw to fit that, which means I don't have to change it. Right, here is the genius part. This has got to go the furthest away out of anything, but it's easiest to put in. Why is it easiest to put in? I'll tell you for why. A few years ago, I fashioned a tool out of a fat guitar string, and what's this? And it has bits and bobs on it. I'm hoping, I'm sure I think that wood is in. It might just supposed to get a washer on there, I don't know, but what's this? I think that's going to be too fat. We'll try it with this. I think it'll be too fat, because if we go there, then a washer, then a knot. Right, there you go, it's got the washer on there. We're going to thread this through this hole. We're going to bring it through the F hole, like so, and we're going to shove this into there. No, we're not. Yeah, I need to get the other parts. It doesn't matter, I can do it this way, it's fine. I can do it this way, it's going to be okay. And we are going to hope that washer stays on that end. And then we'll bring it through. And a few times we're going to get a wire in the way like we have. We'll get rid of that in a minute. We'll get the washer back on. The washer of course has come off. Always happens. There you go. And we're not going to get away with that washer. We don't need the washer, so we're going to put it back. We don't need the washer. Which is even better. So we'll pop this out. Of course the washer's going to fall inside the guitar, so I'm going to try and do is get the washer at the end, hook it back round, so grab the washer, very fiddly. This is why I do a lot of this off camera, because it can be infuriating. Not always, but it can be. Just need to grab the washer and go with some washer. Can find spaces and all that. I'll drop the washer again, you see. We will get it. We don't need the washer, we just need the jack. I'll try and pull the jack through with the wire out of the way. And find a place somewhere, and there you go. And again, hopefully this doesn't drop in. It nearly has dropped in, don't worry about that yet. I've dropped some bollock there because what I've done is I've got the washer and the nut ready. Now, as far as the washer goes, anything that goes over there will be good enough. Not really planned this out very well, have I? This only just fits through, I don't get it. There you go. Now I need to somehow a bit of the way I should have done it in the first place. Get a nut on there. I'm going to shove this back in. Hopefully get enough grip, like so. I'll try and get the nut on as it is. Now the thing is, this kept wanting to cross thread, so we've got to really take our time with it and get it on straight. You see the dilemma we're doing this. Anyway, I've got enough thread there. Just about get it on straight now. It's always tempting to let it do what it wants, but that doesn't mean it's not straight. So I'm going to persevere with this. Hopefully I've got the right knot, I might have the wrong one. I think we're in. I think we've got it straight. Have we got it straight? No. I know it fits, unless I put wrong knot on. I took this off another jack, so that looks right to me. It's not, we need to just bite. I'm going to persevere with it, persevere with this. As I say, we have it. Right, my friends. And there you go. We have all of the pots in place. Three-way switch, pots, and the jack, input jack. I know that's the wrong thing on there. I need to put a proper cap on there. Unfortunately, with that, we cannot hold the bottom to tighten it. So we need to just hope and pray that just tighten it this way will do it. And more needles. Not. That's pretty okay to me. And if it's turning, it's tough. So everything looks to be neat and tidy in there. I'll get everything out of the way. Everything tightened up. I don't recommend you do this with pliers, you should do it with spanners. But just for, because I've got pliers in my hand, I'm going to go with pliers in my hand. And they're not moving, that's not moving, that's good. And then here, don't want anything spinning. And I've actually used nuts off my own pot, so put them behind. but they are all in and tight, and I'm hoping everything there is working. So what we're going to do is push pull. Basically live. We're going to plug in and test the electrics. Because this is how we do it. Hopefully there's no buzz. Both pickups on. No buzz, so we've got no earth faults. That should just be bridge. Neck. So we've got the thingy selector switched the wrong way around. That really is about it. And this is bridge. Okay, let's test the split coils first. We'll make sure everything's working right. I will turn that around in a minute. So, we've got bridge. That's neck. Well, that is that bridge. Let's see what's what. Right, okay. Bridge. Neck. So that is the wrong way around, so we need to turn that. Okay, let's do that. Let's turn that 180 degrees. Do we have enough room to do that? Sure we do. It's saying no. Why is that saying no? Let's see what wires are on there. Got plenty of wire on there. Right, okay, bear with. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. We'll do it that way. So because of the way this has been wired, and because I'm not taking it out again, we're going to wire this the wrong way around, unfortunately. Perfect. Right, we've got it done. I'm going to get this all fitted in, and we'll come back and check the electrics in a minute. Okay, done. We're not going to worry why the neck pickup is so much louder than the bridge pickup. That's because the neck pickup is close to the strings, the bridge pickup's miles away. So all we're going to do is bridge pickup this one. We're going to just so we're just going to play on the bridge pickup, volume. We're going to do coil split, then coil full, split, full. So listen to the difference in volume. Full, split, split, full. Volume, tone. Same on the neck pickup, neck, full, split. Split, full. Pickups on, split neck, split bridge. So the electrics are working exactly as they should. I'm not convinced that's the right nut and washer on the input jack, but what can I do? You didn't send me any washers or nuts with that, so I've had to use my own. So ready, that's all good. The electrics are now sorted. Now we can move on to the neck. I'm going to check the setup with the guitar as it is with the old strings on. I've got to find some screws for these pickups. There's only, oh no, there are 8 there. So we're going to get these all in. Might as well do it while I'm here. Why won't that line up? Crikey, things people send me, seriously. I do apologise, I did say all these screw things weren't here, but they are. And that's good. So basically you've seen everything on this guitar. You're getting all my cursing and all my flowery language, you're getting everything. No holds barred. But you've seen it all. I'm going to suggest that the client pays me the full amount if he can't afford it. And we'll work something out. I shouldn't be charging people less just because I feel sorry for him. I'll just have to let him know. So a lot of work goes into working through F-holes. That's why we charge more. I'm sorry to be going on about money. Shouldn't be going on about money. But, hey, bonus, we have the electrics done. How good is that? So there are the pickups. This one's sitting miles away. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this one up. We're going to bring this one up. Get the volumes right. That's looking a lot better. We're not worried about tuning or anything at the moment. That is where that one needs to be. That sounds pretty good. So let's compare bridge, neck. Neck is a lot louder. I'm going to lower that neck. Neck. Pretty happy with that. So that is the electrics of the pickups done. Just need to bring this one up a little bit. Get down a little bit. Pretty good, pretty good. Just need to drop this down a tad. This up a little bit higher on the treble side. What I'm going to do is under this pickup, because it's sitting so skew with, I'm going to put some sponge under this one when I have got the strings off. And it'll sit straight while the bridge pickup is. Yeah, we're looking good there. Keep it all neat and tidy. Right, very, very good. So that is the electrics done. I can even put the knobs on now if you wish. There are some bits missing. I guess it's as good as mine. What bits are missing? I'm hoping these fit these pots because I really don't know. Let's turn everything on full. We've got some tape residue on the guitar. I did tell the guy I would get it off. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Where is my glue residue cloth? It doesn't seem to be about. You know what, we're going to use this one. It's tape residue on the guitar body there. It says we'll get that off. Bit of white spirit, straight off. Look at that. Just dissolved straight off, gone. We'll get rid of all this gunk. We'll have this guitar looking like new when it's done. if nothing else, I'm thorough, and I know I'm value for money. I know I'm great value, and I know I'm good at what I do, so I can't complain. I try to let him off some money, but this has taken me all day. And I've not been on it non-stop all day, but, you know. This guitar should have been finished today. But I didn't know I was doing a complete rewire. I just thought I soldered in a couple of wires on there. This is the lot. I've replaced 2 pots, replaced the jack. I've actually extended and replaced some wiring. But look at that, the guitar already is looking a lot better than when it came in. There is a sticker here. If a guy can't afford to have the work done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, look, pay me what we've already done. I say, you owe me for an hour. You can get the money, send me the money. In most cases, when that happens, you just get the full amount anyway. I'm not going to badger anyone for 25 quid. Just end of the day, I'm a tax-paying, self-employed man. But look at that. I will clean all this with naphtha in a bit. I can bring that shine and that lustre back. That already looks fantastic. So next, what we're going to do, I'm going to do a setup with these old strings on. Check everything, test everything, check the intonation, blah 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 blah. Then I'm going to remove the strings. We're going to get the neck set straight, and we're going to go across the fret rocker, and we're going to check all the frets. I already know there's loads of frets on there I need doing, so we are going to do a complete fret level. It means we're going to have to knock off the nut, glue that back on at a later time. The nut's not fitted very nicely anyway. We'll have a look at the truss rod and everything, make sure everything's working. But as things are, turn the amp off for now. The electrics are complete. There's the, I know you can't see all of it, I'll bring it a little bit closer. In fact, I'll tell you what I do, I'll zoom out just a little. The guitar already looks really good. That's not out, that's in. I know you can't see everything, but look at the state of the guitar now. All that tape residue has been removed. Doesn't that look beautiful now? So it was all tape residue all around here, all up here and around here. I've cleaned all that off. I've completely rewired the electrics, 2 brand new pots, push-pull pots there. A couple of my own screws on these areas. Rewired the jack again, rewired everything in here. And yeah, very good. So really pleased with how it's looking right now. These are the electrics done, but this is taking longer than it ought to have done. We are coming up to, well, I've got no idea what time it is. I don't even know where my phone is. We are coming up to 7:30 PM. It means on this guitar, I've probably done 4.5 hours on this guitar. I'd normally do an hour, spend an hour and a half on doing this. Just tidying everything up and getting it back in, but you know. So, charging an hour for that on top of what we arranged. But that's it now. Going to do, just test this, I'm going to tune it in, get the setup tested. I'm going to come back tomorrow, we're going to get these strings off, we're going to get these frets levelled, recrowed, polished, and we're going to get the guitar set up. May not be tomorrow, maybe Saturday. We've got something else on tomorrow, but that's it. We're now ready to move on to the neck and the setup. You may have noticed that I've taped up the sides of the neck for a reason, and that's because we're going to lay tape between all of the frets for when we get these frets levelled. And you'll notice that also I've not done that yet. 3 lots of tape here, but the reason I've not done it yet is, before I do that, there's a few things I need to do. I need to cover each pickup with some Scotch 3M tape so we don't get any filings or anything in the pickups when we're levelling. Cover anything we're going to hit the could possibly hit with the levelling beam, we've covered up. We're not going to hit anything or damage anything now because everything's covered, it's all low enough. but what we need to determine is that this neck is absolutely straight, or if not absolutely straight as we can get it. And sometimes they do undulate and we go up and down a little bit, like the Loch Ness Monster's back. Very, very tiny amount, like we might have a little bit of relief or a gap at the end and also a little bit in the middle, which means it's up and down. And what we do is we take a best average. Because don't forget, the level of a neck is not how flat the piece of wood is, it's how level the frets are. Your plane surface on a guitar neck is not the neck itself or fretboard itself, it's actually the frets. So the frets are going to be levelled as close to level on the wood as possible. Now we have no relief in there, we have a tiny bit of fall away at this end and an oomph at this end. So that is basically as level as I can get it. So that is good enough for me. So because that is good enough for me, we are going to level the frets with the neck in this as straight as that. So we can remove the truss rod key. And what we're going to do is we are now going to tape up all of the fingerboard, and we do that so we don't get any filings under the frets or into the wood or whatever, nothing into the pickups. And eventually when we've recrowned them and polished them, there's going to be iron filings coming from steel wool we don't want to get in the pickups either. So everything's taped up, cleaned up, blah blah blah, and we are going to tape up between the frets, and that's just a matter of this. And I am going to zoom in. I forgot to zoom in, I meant to zoom in, and you see I've got the neck central. I always test this before I actually start filming. So that's good. It's just a matter of getting everything taped up. I'll bring that up here, out of the way. I'm going to tape up the whole fingerboard. I do have a method for doing this. So I've got left gap there, and there. And what I do is I'll do 4 at a time. And I always do one fret, leave a gap this side and this side. And that's the reason for that is when we take another piece, we're going to save tape, we can rip it down the middle. Thin piece can go on the thinnest bit, like so, and the fattest piece can go on the fattest bit, like so. When we come to this one here, we can rip it straight down the middle, well, more or less straight down the middle, and crack on, crack off, and there you go. It works like that. Now 3 different widths of tape, and as we go up the neck I will swap over and change, and I'm going to get the whole of this neck all taped up ready for levelling. I may not be doing the levelling tonight. It's getting up towards 7 PM on a Friday evening. My wife and I are going to walk the dog and we'll go for a beer at our local hostelry. We've got a nice country pub just up the road called the Cricketers. We sell traditional ales, real ale. I know the landlord and he knows what beers I like, and he always gets me a special beer in. So I'm sure I'll have a new one to try, but if not, I'm sure something like El Simo or Infinity will be on tap tonight, which will do me just fine. And I'm not going to go out and get drunk, but I'm going to go out and have a couple, as you do. So that's what I'm going to do in a minute. So I'm going to tape this up. When I come back in the morning, we're all ready to do the fret level on this guitar. That one is just about the right width there. So on that one, we'll just take a piece of 6mm tape. The reason we get the neck level before we put tape on is once this tape's on, we can't check a level again because these tapes are different thicknesses. So we get the level done and set, and that's it. There's no going back. We level to how the neck is right here, right now. So let's wang that there, and that's it. I can start getting this done. So I'm going to crack on, get this done, and we'll come back in the morning and we'll get these frets leveled. That's that for you. Have a great evening, guys. Back in the morning. Well, welcome back, fret friends. With the neck all taped up, ready to level the frets. I've been across with fret rocker. We do have, I think it's 8, is it 8 frets? High spot in the middle of that one, middle of this one. There also, I don't know if you can see, zoom in a bit, there are indentations as well in these frets, all from here right up to, oh, you're looking all the way up 12th fret at least, especially down this side, down here. Little indentations where the frets go up and down where there's some wear. So we were going to end up doing a leveling profile anyway. I'm just going to mark up these frets again. 1, 2, 3, whole fret there, 4, whole fret 5, 6, and we have 7. I'm going to go across with the fret rocker and just show you, and hopefully you can hear the frets rocking. Fret rocker, 4 sides, precision ground flat, milled, laser cut. There you go, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very high on that one, 5, 6 here, and the last one 7. Seven high frets. And what I'm going to do is, before I go across with the levelling beam, which I will finish off with, levelling beam, milled flat again, both edges, 2B1 box section steel, got 240 grit on that side, 400 grit on that side. I'm not going to spot level a lot yet. What I'm going to do is first I'm going to take a file and I'm going to spot file the high ones, just to bring them very close to where I need to be. And for this job, I'm going to take a flat file. This is a number 4 cut file, Swiss made by Valorbe. Beautiful, beautiful file, it's my favourite. It is super smooth, super flat, and it cuts really well. And what I'm going to do is get the flat side down, and we're just going to remove material from the first fret. And once we stop getting resistance, we know we have it level with the other ones, because we're using the others as a guide. And what this is doing, bringing this one fret down to the level of these two and these two, but it's also smoothing out. It's also scratching up these frets, which means we've got to re-profile these frets anyway, even the ones we are not leveling. What I'm going to do is just take the file across like I have done, and now that fret is level. We're going to check one back and one forward, and what we've done there in effect is level that one fret down, and it's level with these 5. We will be doing the whole lot later, but what we always do is when we've done one, we wipe the file and we move along to the next one. Again, flat side down. And once we stop getting resistance, we know we've got that fret level. Feels pretty good to me. Check again. And that fret is now level. Really is that simple. But it is time consuming, not to actually level the fret, but to actually get them all level, profiled and polished. It's also affected this one next to it, so we're just going to give that one a little spot level. And I know by experience that that is fine now. And we move on to this one. Now when it gets to a position where we have 2 frets quite close together and both are high, we're going to basically do them both together. So that one's done. I'm going to move on to this one as well. Still high there, slightly high in the middle. That one's fine. So back to this one again. So we've done 2 there. We've done this one in this area and this one the whole width. And we're going to turn the file around, but still going with the flat side down. You probably not see from where you are, but we have really, really flattened this one fret. Now this one fret here, we need a leveling across the whole width of the neck, or the whole length of the fret. Always remembering, wipe the file, and always checking. Still high on that side, still high on that side. That side's good. That was still a little bit high there. And just keep going till we're right. You're not going to remove too much because you're doing so many frets at one time. The other frets are not going to allow you to start removing too much material. And there we are, that's that one level. that one level, check one back, check one forward. Very good. Now this one again, this was a full length fret. We're going to mark these ones up again, just so I know where I am. There, middle, full. Exactly the same thing. When I've spot leveled these final three, all the frets should just about be the same level. So then I'll go across with a pen, I'll mark the whole lot, and we'll go across with a leveling beam. So let's just check where we are with this one. Very high. This one, not so high. And this one, very high. So again, same thing. A little bit more elbow grease on this one because it's a very high one. Try and concentrate just on this one. And I can tell by the resistance this is going to need a lot of the material removing. Now the thing with older frets, we tend to be softer than new frets. It's like, for instance, nowadays I'm using a 25% nickel silver fret wire, which is almost as hard as stainless, where these are 12% nickel silver. Now what I've been using for the last few years is 18% nickel silver, which is a lot harder than the 12. But I've just come across Sinton's Elite, which is 25%, and that is a fret wire that should last many, many years. Anyway, I don't know if you can see, but there are a lot of shavings there. My frets have a lot of material removed, so we're going to wipe the file, blow away the crap, and we're going to check this fret. Still a little bit high, and this one here next to it, let's get in there. Going to do these two together. Feels like we're just about there because I'm getting a lot less resistance now. This one's almost flat, we've removed that much material. But it is now level. Over to this one, that is now also level. Check one forward, one back. One forward, one back. We're all good. Last one to do here. Like I say, it's not the leveling, it takes the time. Now because I've got across all of these frets, I'm going to do the whole lot. We're going to have to recrown every single one of them, which takes time, then polishing. Good few hours work left in this yet. Wipe the file. Zoom out just a little bit so you can see a little bit more. There you go. Again, flat side down. This one all the way across. On that corner. Feels good. Still high, oh, still quite high on that corner. Feels good everywhere else. So, okay. Ah, there you go, I can feel it now. Sometimes you just need to turn the file around just to get the feel of it. And that, my friend, should be there. And there we are. That fret is now level. One forward, one back, job done. So now what we're going to do is wipe the fingerboard. Wipe the fret, should I say. Pen the lot. We're going to do them all in one go, and it should just take a few strokes to remove all this pen. And if it does remove it all in a few strokes, it means we've got all of the frets level with each other, then we can move on to getting them recrowned and then polished. So to get a coating of pen on all of the frets. If you can hear heavy breathing, it's my dog, by the way. He's just here in front of the camera. He loves being in this room with me. And with my wife now working full time, he just sits in here most of the day while I'm working. And he's having a snooze. He likes to sleep on the doormats just next to the front door of the house. Dogs always like the stinkiest places, don't they? But there you go. Anyway, that is the frets now all marked up. Because I have them more or less level anyway, I don't think I'm going to need to go with the 240 grit, but I am going to go with the 240 grit just to check. So we're just going to go following the radius. .240 grit done, just checking these frets. That is all the green marker removed off all the frets. It means the frets are level. Also means each fret is now scratched up, so we'll need profiling anyway, but we'll actually do that. We're going to do exactly the same again one more time, going across with the 400 grit, which is smoother, which is going to remove some of these scratches. They're all going to be removed anyway when we polish them up. Not a difficult job this, but it is time consuming, and that's what you're paying for. All of these frets now have got a little bit of levelling. So we removed a little bit of height, maybe we removed a 20th of a millimetre from the top of each fret. We still have enough to crown. There's still years of life left in these frets. So finally, 400 grit, which is a smoother grit again. Same thing, let the beam do the work, no need to press down. A little bit extra on the fall away area, and there you go, that's beautiful. And that is it, the frets are now level. If I could find my brush, what have I done with that? Good question, here it is. Push away all the filings there, and there you go, these frets are all silver. Just going to check that we have maintained the radius. Someone came on my YouTube the other day saying, oh, you don't keep the radius when you do it that way. I says, yes you do. Yes you do, mate. And I had a big argument with him, and gave up in the, oh, I didn't give up in the end, he gave up in the end, but I was right. But you don't lose a radius, but there you go. Perfect. And up here, radius is sound. 12-inch radius maintained along the whole length, and that is it. The frets are now level. What I'm going to do now is mark them all up with some darker pen, and we're going to get them crowned. I will show you the crowning shortly. I've got to nip out for a moment, I've got some church business on, so I will be back after church. So with the frets now level, let's get them recrowned. And by recrowning, what we're going to be doing is, where we've levelled all these frets, we're now across the top, they're flat, and we're going to rebuild that crown in there this way along the length of the whole fret. And how we're going to do that is we're going to take a 3-cornered file like this, for instance. The edges are ground safe. It means we're not going to cut into the guitar. And what we're going to do is we're going to rebuild that crown each side of the fret using the 3-cornered file. As I file that way, from the far side of the fret, I'm going to lean the file toward the camera. When I come to this side, I'm going to lean it away from the camera, and we're going to completely rebuild that crown. Once the crown has been semi-rebuilt, I will be taking the profiling file, which already has the groove in there, and we'll be finishing off just to remove any unevenness and any burrs that might still be there. Once that's done, along the length of the whole neck, we will get on to the polishing, of which I'll explain more about that later. So I'm going to zoom in Try and keep the camera in focus. I'm going to zoom in just a little. Wherever the camera lands is the fret I'm going to do, just to show you how we crown. That is as close as I'm going to get. I'm going to go with this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6th fret. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to get any closer than that. 6th fret, I'm going to cover in pen, and you'll see that the whole top of that fret is now black. I'll take the cloth, take my 3-corner file, and what I'm going to do is do exactly what I explained on the far side. I'm going to file across, and I'm going to angle the file toward the camera to rebuild the arc on the far side. Then I'm going to come across to this side, I'm going to angle the file away from the camera to build the arc on this side. So we're going to get a full crown. I'm going to start on the near side first, or near side to the camera. So with the file flat, just bring in, and I'm going to start to gently angle the file away from the camera, and I'm looking at getting a nice thin black line down the centre of this fret. That thin line will show that we've not removed any height, but we have rebuilt the crown, and that is where the string will touch the fret. Don't have to go mental, don't have to go gung-ho, nice and gentle, don't have to press too hard. It is not a major job, it's not difficult to do, and that's it. I have a nice thin black line down the centre of that fret. I'm going to move over to the profiling file, and I'm just going to round it off. It really is that simple. That one is done. What we're going to do is we're going to check a beautifully crowned now. We are going to take the fret rocker, when I remember where it is, it's right here, and we're just going to check that we've not removed any height, and we'll know that by moving across one and back one. And there you go, perfect. So fret 6 is done. We'll move on to fret 5. As long as we keep that black line down the centre, it means we're not removing height, and with the frets level, it means we're going to maintain that height along the whole length of the fingerboard or the whole length of the neck. Right, file again, wipe the file clean, far side, near side. Doesn't take long, especially with these older frets which are a little bit softer, normally 12% nickel silver. Wipe the file, blow away the filings, and let's go across, wipe the file, and again with the profiling file, even it off, give it a wipe, fret rocker, and there you go. We'll check back one, we've already done fret 6, we check forward one, we still maintain the height there, so we've not removed, we have now that fret 5. These two are done. I'm going to mark up the first 4. I'm going to do the rest. 5 and 6 are done, so there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 are done. 7, 8. You probably can't see all this because it's probably all off camera now, but I'm going to, let me just drag that out a little bit. I'd imagine I have about 19 more to do. Are these a 21 fret affair? I think they are. When it comes to me doing the ones at this end of the body, I will have the body taped up using some Scotch 3M low tack masking tape, so we don't ding a file into the body of the guitar. We wouldn't want that. And there you go. So I believe 19 left to do. Are we could be a 22, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. It's a 22 fret affair, so I have 20 more to do. I'll get these ones done at this end first. Going to crack on, get them all done. Once that's done, we'll move on to the polishing. I'll explain more about the polishing stage when we get to it. Final stage of the fret work, and this is where we're going to get to polishing. With the frets levelled and now recrowned, we need to polish these up. We don't polish them up to make them shiny, we polish them up to do two things. One, yes, of course, to make them shine, but also to remove all the scratches that have been left by the files we've used to get them recrowned. So what I do is I go with 6 different grits of sandpaper, which I have all cut out and separated, and I mark them all up, and I'm going to start with the most coarse one being 600 grit and the finest one being 2000 grit, so 6 grits. And what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to round off these bevels. And all we need to do is just take the coarse grit, 600 to round these bevels off, remove any burrs. Don't need a lot of work on this because they're nice and round anyway, just to smooth anything off if we've got any excess over there. It's just a matter of just rolling. We're only going to do this the once with the 600 grit, and that's it. Once we get to the last few, you see how I've got the body all taped up so we don't mark or scuff the body anywhere. We also do that for when we're using the file, that we don't scuff the body with the file. And we're going to do this obviously both sides. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do the first pass with this 600 grit paper running in line with the frets. And that is it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start off, work his way to the far side, start off at the first one. All we're going to do is wet my fingertip just so it sticks to the back of the paper better, stops it slipping. Then we're going to go across the fret, because the scratches are this way, so we're going to remove them by going this way. And we're going to go across the top, then we're going to get into the inside corner, into the outside corner, and then across the top again. We have got 6 lots of 22 to do, which I believe is 132 times. Then we've got 22 lots of to do with the steel wool. So 130, 132, 154 polishes we have to do. This takes a while. It does make your arm ache. So you see we're on to the second one, and we're just getting right in and over. What we're going to do is do 6 different grits, then we're going to finish off with steel wool. And by the time we've been across with the 6 grits and whatever, all of the scratches would have disappeared. They're going to be scratch free, and these will reflect like glass. So it's going to take me a while to do this, so I'm going to put some music on in the background. I'm going to crack on, get these done, and I'll come back and show you the results. With the frets now all polished, 6 grits of sandpaper, just finishing off with a steel wool, that's 2 to do. Straight over the top, in at the far corner, in at the near corner, and straight back across the top. These frets are just coming up to being finished. In at the side, across the top, and those frets are done. And I've already checked these frets and they look fantastic. We've gone with 6 different grits of sandpaper, 600 grit through to 2000 grit. Hopefully you can see a couple of those. I'm going to have a look myself. They are scratch free, super shiny, super smooth. So all that remains for me to do now is I'm going to glue the nut back on. I'm going to put the nut back on as it was, in exactly the same position, because I do not need to change the nut, because the nut will now be slightly higher than it was originally. All I've got to do is find out where I put the nut. Here it is. And it should go straight back on. I will be recarving the nut slots. Good thing about putting the nut back on where it came from is it's going to stick in exactly the same place. And there you go, that will be... You know what, I am going to file this nut. I'll tell you what, it overhangs this side by about 0.5 millimetre. So I'm going to do this all off camera. I'm going to reshape this nut. Need to remove 0.5 mil from that side. I'll reshape it and I'll get that glued back on. But what I will do is, while I'm here, I'll just start removing a little bit of the tape. Let's go with these 2, just to show where we are with these frets. And there you go, you can see the first one. And that is beautiful. Oh my goodness, they're great. They are beautiful. Let's keep going while we're on camera. Let's not... that's a shame. Because when the tape's been on a day or 2, it does tend to be pretty much more stuck than it ought to be. So it does take quite a while to peel off. But these are all things you don't normally see on camera. You know, other time-consuming jobs. Not everything makes the video. A lot of work happens behind the scenes, like research, for instance, that I do online. Never makes the final video. It never even gets on the video, any of it. But here you go. Removing the tape. I love removing the tape because it's then that you see the results of the polishing. This hopefully will come off in one strip. I'll stop, there you go, stop right there, and we'll keep going. Very, very satisfying part of the job, this. Part we all love. Because I'm recutting that nut, it is slightly wider than the neck itself. I'm going to oil this fingerboard now. And look at this, look how satisfying is this? This is like almost as nice as peeling off sunburn. You know, your skin's all, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, fantastic. Sorry if my head's in the way. And there we go, with all the frets polished up beautifully. Just leave the blue tape on, because what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to get some lemon oil or mineral oil on this fingerboard. It's gubbins, you know what I'm talking about. Specially formulated mineral oil, not lemon oil, it's mineral oil, specially formulated for wooden fingerboards. Anything like power ferro, ebony, rosewood, those types. And the reason we call it lemon oil is they put a drop of lemon oil in there to make it smell nice, that is all. And we've got far too much on there, which is fantastic. I'm going to let that soak in for 5-10 minutes. Do its thing, then we'll wipe that off and the wood will be nourished, the fingerboard will be clean. We'll be ready to glue on the nut. The nut, like I say, I'm going to hand carve it, hand file it and sand it, get it to the perfect width, and we're going to glue it back on. Just going to take a measurement when I remember where I put the thing. Now this is a thing, live camera again. Could be anywhere now. Here we go, it's here. I'm going to need to remove some on each side. It's probably 1/2 mil wider. I don't think this is original nut because there's a gap between the edge of the nut here and the veneer on top of the headstock. So I think this is a replacement nut anyway. So I'm going to hand carve that a little. I'll get a file right now. And all I'm going to do is, I'm going to take quite a coarse file. And I'm basically just going to narrow this down a little bit by about 1/2 millimetre. So just with a file. I don't know what material this is. It's some kind of composite resin. You can tell by the holes in there underneath. It could be something like Araya resin. It could be a tusk. By tusk I mean man-made tusk by Gravtech. TUSQ, which is basically a man-made ivory or a substitute for bone, which is very popular nowadays. I actually use tusk nuts myself a lot. Anyway, I'm just carving away. Can you see any of this? Quite a coarse file, so I'm removing material. And we're just going to get it close. I'm going to sand over the whole lot anyway because this looks very, very tobacco stained. I'd like to get rid of all that brown on there, and that is getting to where we need to be. There's a little bit of glue residue on there I'm going to get rid of. I'm going to take a really fine file. So you're on this journey with me again. You know, as I work, you see it being on. I'm just going to just take that glue off there. There's a little bit of glue residue. I'm just going to smooth that off and that's a lot better. Because I would like this nut to be sitting flush to the nut shelf, not on any glue, because the bottom of the nut is now level. I levelled that off earlier, and that looks a lot nicer, feels a lot nicer as well. And that is sitting beautifully, a lot better than it was before, because we've taken that extra width off there. Okay, I'm just going to sand, ever so lightly sand this. Grab a piece of 400 out of the box. There you go. Piece of 400 sandpaper there, and we're just going to go over it. I could even put sandpaper down on a flat surface like this. Makes it a lot easier. You can't see what I'm doing, but I've got some flat sandpaper on the bench, and I'm just rubbing the nut across it. And you're going to see the results of that in a minute. There you go. I'm removing some of the brown staining on there. I'm going to move across to another bench, get that done. I will come back and show you the results of that very shortly. So the nut is now fitted. I couldn't get all of the staining off there. I could sand it even deeper. I don't want to go any deeper because we'll make the nut too thin. But it's glued into place. I've thinned it out so it's the same width as the neck. And all that remains for me to do now is to remove all of this masking tape, some of which I can save and use again, like that piece for instance. Just for basically marking up. Obviously most of it I'm going to be thrown away. Take it off carefully because it can remove paint. Nice and steady. Any bits I can use again I will do. You know what, I'm not going to even bother with this, I'm just going to get rid of it all. It's not expensive, it's 20 quid for 3 rolls, and 3 rolls will last me easily a year. Always good to save some though, just to stuff like this, covering up pickups. These are all covered up so we don't scratch them with a levelling beam or anything. That's all gone really well. Just going to save these 2 pieces because they're in good condition. This piece will be nice. This can always cover another pickup later on. Maybe. So all I need to do with this guitar now is get some strings on it, get it set up, check the nut slots, recarb the nut slots, get the strings stretched in, and we will be done. So it's a big project this one, it's had a lot of hours, but fun all the same. I must remember to factor in working in F-holes on my price sheet. I haven't added it to the 2019-2020 price sheet yet, so I'm going to do that later and post that up. So that is it for now. I will get back onto this one in the morning. We'll get some strings on, we'll get these nut slots recarved, and we'll get the guitar set up, and it will be good to go. So with the strings on, I did have it tuned to pitch. I've done the setup, I've not done the intonation yet, but what I have done is I've got on with cutting the nut slots, and I've brought them down to a height of about 0.3mm above the first fret, which is fine for a guitar like this, just buzzing at 0.3, which is fine. And I just have a low E to do, and that is a good 0.5mm higher than it needs to be. So just using my Hosco files, which you've seen many times before, I'm cutting them on a 1046 set, even though we're a 942 set. It gives us a little bit more to play with. It's standard to use a 1046 set on a 942 nut. Just gives a little bit of playing room. And all I'm going to do is carve into like so. It's not about getting in tune yet, it's just about getting the height right. And we're just going to slightly angle the file downwards towards the tuning peg. But we're not going gung-ho. Remove too much, you're replacing the nut, and that takes time. A little bit more to go. I'm not going to reshape the nut, it's fine as it is. And I'm thinking that that is exactly where we need to be. I'm quite happy with that. So a tad high. like I say, just small increments. You don't need to be gung-ho. Like I say, if you remove too much, you've got to replace a nut. And we don't like doing that, and I've done it on a few occasions over the years. And that to me is pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is, grab my tuner, I'm going to get it close to where it needs to be. And we are very, very close. I'm very happy with the string height above the first fret now. I'm also happy with the amount of relief I've got in the neck. I've altered the truss rod to bring us to 0.25 millimeters under the 9th fret, or between the 9th and the 8th. I'll just check that again. I've got 0.3 here, and this should definitely, this should rock. And it does rock it, look. So 0.25, perfect. I can put the truss rod cover back on. The nut is set exactly how I want it. I've got the action right at the 12th fret. On the low E, I'm at 1.75, high E 1.5, so that is all set. All I need to do now is just check the intonation, which I've not checked. I'm going to move that camera up just a little bit because we're in the wrong place now. I was supposed to zoom in on that nut, but I didn't. Sorry about that. I'm just going to bring this round. I think we could zoom in a little. I'm going to get the intonation close, then I'm going to get the guitar in the playing position, and I'm going to set the intonation and the tuning and everything while the guitar is in the playing position. Remove any dust from there. Fingerboard has been oiled, frets have been levelled, frets have been recrowned and polished. The electrics have all been done, all of the electrics, everything. 2 brand new push-pull pots on the volumes. Really hard to pull up these knobs on. He's going to change the knobs if he wants to grip them properly. Brand new electrics. I've reset this pickup and I've put a load of padding underneath so it sits level. All I really need to do now is set the intonation. So we're going to get, I'll stick a guitar lead in there. The guitar bodywork has all been cleaned up. It was all messy. It had tape all over it and gunk all over it. I cleaned all that. There are a few scratches on the body where things have been removed in the past. Can't avoid, well, it's not very hard to avoid it. I haven't done it. It was already there, so a few scratches here and there, but that's okay. But the guitar looks much better than it did. Okay. Like I say, I'll do it while it's laying down. Should be close because I think I did it with the old strings on, did I? Intonation is bang on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch the strings in, I'm going to get the guitar in the playing position, tune it in again with the strings stretched, set the intonation again, and we will be all done. We are minutes away from being complete. When I've got it all done, I'll come back, we'll recap what work's been done, and we'll wrap this video up. And here we are, all done. And what a project this has been, but so worth it. Look at the guitar now. How wonderful does that look? and this has had the full fret friend treatment. We've done everything to this guitar. We had all of the electrics out of the F-hole. We've redone the whole lot of the electrics. I've replaced 2 of the pots for push-pull pots on each volume. They're working fine. The electrics had to be redone because the guy who touched it before made such a mess of it. I've also levelled off this pickup, the neck pickup, which was tilting right back. We've given the a complete fret level and reprofile, including a polish. It's had a complete setup. Every nut, bolt, whatever has been tightened and checked. Of course, the normal setup. I've set the, I've recut the nut. I've set the action at the 12th fret. I've set the relief at the neck. I've tightened every nut and bolt. Intonation's been done. The guitar plays like a dream and it looks fantastic. It's a lot cleaner than it was when it came in as well. It's been a real fun project, this one, but it has had a lot of work. I did end up charging the extra £25 for working through the F-hole because I spent that long the first day on this guitar. This guitar has had a lot more work than it's been charged for. It's almost had 2 full days. Not full at it, full on days, but it's taken 2 days of my time just about. Saying that, I've not gone at it gung-ho, I've taken my time. There's a lot of research went into it as well. I couldn't find a wiring diagram, so I took 2 wiring diagrams and actually mocked one up, tested it, and it all works fine. Also, there's some parts missing, like the holder for the input jack. Did I replace the input jack? Can't remember, might have done. The wiring had to be redone on the 3-way selector. I'm hoping it's all in the right way. I've got it forwards and backwards. I've got bridge, both, neck. That's the way I've got it wired anyway. But the guitar looks fantastic. I don't know what year it is, but it is a beautiful Epiphone DOT. Lovely, lovely guitar, and it's all done. So, without further ado, I'm going to move on to the next one. This one's all ready to go. I'm just about to let the owner know it's ready. And this is Victor signing off, your fret friend. Just before I go, remind you of our website, facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I'm Victor, your fret friend. And until next time, boys and girls, as always, God bless you. Be good to each other, and I will see you soon.